Good evening and welcome to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals and journaling, and just about anything and everything that's going to keep you inspired. Welcome. I'm thinking of cutting new beginning credits. I'm going to use the same song, but I think I'm going to have much more interesting B-roll because I did upgrade my camera to the latest iPhone, and it takes just splendid video. If you'd like to see the kind of video that it takes, catch my recent video on the most gothic fountain pen. It was a review of the Benu Skull and Roses Crow fountain pen that I released last Thursday, but it has some incredible B-roll, and really it's a narrative. All my videos are really about something else other than the pen as well. Because from a fountain pen, we can go anywhere, and we often do. So in that video, it's all about life and death and just renewal and enjoying our time here. And it was shot at the beautiful Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So don't miss it if you haven't seen it, and you get to see what the new B-roll looks like because it brings high definition to a new level. So you're going to see a lot more of that. I want to welcome someone. I see Karen J. McLean, who I was speaking to in the comments only like a half hour ago, is catching her first live. Welcome, Karen. Love to see you here. Love to see everyone here. Thank you for all the thumbs up, guys. I see them flying by. I do appreciate it. It does help the algorithm and to let people know that we are here. And I see someone else. I'm trying to pick people out from the crowd. The chat goes by really fast, so forgive me if I miss something. But Zafira is here as well, saying hello from Minnesota. Kaylee is here as well, saying hi back. So lots of good people here tonight. I'd like to thank all the members and everyone else for joining our Tuesday night meeting where we talk about just about everything. And the idea is to keep you guys inspired. So I think I have a very nice show in store for you this evening. I'm going to speak a bit about my origins, where my passion for fountain pens came from, what sort of seduced me into this world of ours, what made pens so compelling and writing and everything else that sort of led to this whole enterprise, which I'm very proud of. I feel like the best thing about this is you guys, this community. This community is the best thing about Hemingway Jones. I'm just the conductor. You guys are the orchestra. So I'm very happy to have you. And I think we're making, it's maybe a trite analogy, but I think we're just making a beautiful symphony here. So thank you for being here. All right. I see John Manuel's here. He helps me quite a bit. I appreciate everyone. Alexandra Richardson, Alexandra's Art and Sanity. Always nice to see Alexandra. She has her own YouTube channel as well. Give her some love if you get an occasion. She does a lot with watercolors. Very nice person. So very, very good stuff. Allie J. I'd be lost without Allie J, guys. She is one of the bedrock people of this channel. Nice to see you, Allie. Let me see. Here's a question. I love questions. I so rarely get questions these days. Tony D. Vera. Hello, HJ. I am new to the fountain pen hobby. More user than collector, which good for you. Love people that are into the passion of writing rather than owning. But I'm a collector myself, so I can't say too much. So there you have it. I recently got into mechanical keyboards and can't help but feel like the love of writing and analog experience brings the two together. Well, you may have noticed behind me, I have to go the other way, but right behind me is a typewriter. There's several typewriters. There's 14 in this room and a few others downstairs. So I have an active collection of manual typewriters. I used to do a lot of typewriter videos, but nobody watched them. So I stopped making them. I do get discouraged when people don't watch certain things, and I make other things. So you move on, but I do love typewriters. And I did try to work them in. I have the Ripley typewriter from Talented Mr. Ripley, and when I got it, it was in the box, never opened. So maybe I'll do something on that one day soon, but Welcome, Tony. And I agree with you 100%. So brilliant. And wow, Peg Leg Pirate Rooster. How you doing, my friend? With a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Right out of the gate tonight. Too many weeks in a row drooling over the Edson. There's a ruby winging its way from Israel every time your show every time I show it off, you get the shakes. Well, I'm going to show it off again because I always like to show which pen I'm using. So let me make some space because I'm going to show you some other stuff too. Tonight's show is going to be really interesting because I am going to speak about my how I got seduced in the fountain pens, as I said, but I'm also going to show you a book I'm bringing to Italy to hold some notes and things. And it's super fun. And it's a bit of a back to the future for me. So I think you'll like that. But let me also show you now which pen I've been using. And I could make a video about this, guys. Still using the Lockbee case. I kind of consider this Lockbee case the best so far. Like, I'm not super duper passionate about it because I really don't like the zipper. I'm always putting my finger here. But I'm using this much more than I should. But when I buy a pen, it's to use it. And this, of course, is the Edson in Sapphire by... Do you guys know who it's by? Of course, it's by Waterman. Waterman fountain pens. One of my favorite brands. So let me show you this bad boy and how it writes. Just unbelievable, consistent ink flow. That's what's beautiful about this, the consistency of the ink flow. I'm going to write very lightly. You can see what I mean. I'm holding the pen rather high. I'm not choking down at all. Beautiful scribing noise. Look at that, huh? Waterman Edson. The ink here, does anybody know the ink? Anybody want to jump into the chats and tell me which ink I'm using? Anyone guess? I mean, can anyone not guess which ink this is? So smooth, guys. By the way, I'm recording a whole bunch of handwriting videos. How to write, different styles, different inspirations for handwriting. So a new big focus on the channel will be handwriting. And not from some lofty, I write better than you do perspective, because I clearly do not write better than you do. But more that handwriting is a shared struggle. And I think it's more fun if we share it and we struggle. And of course, we all have different handwritings. I can write better if I write a little more disciplined. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Did anybody guess the ink color? Let me know in the comments and on the chat. Oh, I see Psychofip's got it. Good job. A lot of you guys know me well. Karen McLean came very close. That's like my runner-up ink. Ooh, Monteverde Blue was a good guess, but sorry, no. Lincoln says has to be a clay to sapphire. It is indeed. Ob said Serenity Blue. No, but you know, that would have been perfect to keep it in-house. But I did not. I went for a clay to sapphire. Sapphire body. I just love the variation in this ink. It's gorgeous. Here I am writing a little smaller. Very nice, huh? I really like this, guys. I can't get enough of this. I've said it before, but I really love how Art Deco this pen look. It just has a look of a mid-century fountain pen. Rather corporate, but almost slightly regal with this brushed gold. And then this double-barreled sapphire that gives it tremendous depth and luminescence. How's that? Where's my wife when I need her? She helps me with words. Words are a challenge for me. Sometimes I need help with words. So, but you know what? You make an effort. And I would rather strive to be expressive and miss than just be trite and not try. So absolutely brilliant pen, with me almost all the time now. Big question is, will it be with me in Italia? Non lo so, ma forse sì. Non sono certo. All right, let me show you another pen. So those of you that remember me speaking 5 minutes ago about the Benu pen, here it is. But first, I see another super chat I need to recognize. I don't want to be remiss. Marcus Souza. Marcus, my friend. Always appreciate Marcus. Super chat, $27.90 from Marcus Souza. Hi, everyone. So today we know how the fountain pen disease develops. Truly, I will be disclosing that and many other things as well. So thank you, Marcus. Your generous and consistent support is incredibly appreciated. I really appreciate you. Thank you, my friend, so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, so here is this brilliant goth pen. I almost called it the most goth fountain pen, but I'm not particularly goth. I'm not sure I'm any place to judge, but I called it gothic. And it is. I love how shiny the top bits are. The base is kind of cracked, almost like a broken window. And then, of course, the cap has these gorgeous skulls. It has a medium Schmidt nib. Pretty sure it's medium. And I put in it Dracula ink. Let's bring out the Nemesine paper and see how this guy writes. So I'm really having a blast with this. Doesn't really post, but that's okay. I put a lot of, if you haven't seen it, I put a lot of movie scenes from The Crow in the video. And this ink is Dracula from Warringall. Nice scribing noise. Beautiful, very expressive, very free-flowing. Fun pen. Feels almost like a magic wand. Very small, very well made, beautiful resin, lots of fun. Would never be my only pen. It's not that kind of pen, but the Edson could be my only pen. It really could. It could be the only pen I use almost for the rest of my life. It's that good. Karen says the grip is really smooth. It is really smooth, and it's rather long, so all the sort of accoutrement is out of your way. If you see that. See, you're here, and all this is up there, so it really doesn't get in the way of your writing experience. Even the threads are very far back. So very nice, comfortable writing pen. I like it. Super fun. I asked Benu for this. It was sort of an opposite thing. I asked them if they'd send it to me so I could make the video, and they did. Which was very nice. Very nice of them. So I want to mention a few things about that video if you haven't seen it, but I think you'll find this really interesting. So one of the big challenges about making videos on the internet is that, by the way, JR Diaz really liked the video. Says, I thought the video was great. I think hard work is paying off. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. I do greatly. I wanted to get that video up before Halloween. That's why I rushed it. It should have aired at the end of December, where I'm actually out to in my lineup, but I moved it up because of Halloween. And so that means that this week, I'll tell you this week's video, then I'm going to tell you some stuff about the Benu video, and then I'm going to get into tonight's topics. I don't want to leave you waiting too long. But this week's video, you guys are going to absolutely be over the moon about, I think. If you really like my Lamy video where I went into the history of the Lamy Safari and the history of Lamy and all that, and then I showed the pen and reviewed it and all that, I do something similar here, but to a different level because I have since acquired better editing software and whatnot. So, and cameras I spoke about earlier. This is on the most underappreciated and underrated fountain pen brand that there is. And I make a declaration in this video that I'm also going to make right now. And that is, this has to change. This perception has to change. And we all have to affect that change. Because there is this fountain pen company that is absolutely brilliant, that has offered consistently good fountain pens over, I mean, they go back over 100 years. But they have, like many pens, have had different iterations. However, it has a consistent thread. And the ownership has bounced back and forth between the United States and Paris, France. So does anybody know which brand I'm talking about? Feel free to let me know in the comments or in the chat if you're here live. This has to change, guys. When I say that this pen brand is great, hi Allie J, it's not Parker, I'm afraid, no. When I say, you're still great though, Allie J. When I say this has to change, they have made some incredible models, some of which are still out there. Very affordable, even for gold nibs, and you get a tremendous writing experience that people don't speak enough about, and their QC is exceptional. Lots of Parkers. Parker made the crummy 51, guys. But to be honest, I haven't dug into modern Parker very much. Alexandra's trying to hedge her bets. That's not fair. It's one guess. Alexandra, what are you doing? Ooh, Karen Webster nails it. There we go. Waterman, guys. Waterman. Waterman is the most underappreciated and underrated fountain pen brand that I can think of. And that goes for Parker now. Parker. Now I'm doing it. Waterman now. But I personally believe that their zenith was in the 1990s. That they were like great, and then they were kind of crummy, and then they got great in the 1990s. Equal, I'd almost put it equal to vintage Waterman with the 52s and the 5s. I love those pens, but I think Waterman from the 1990s is just superb. Superlative. The Quran, the Edson. Come on, the Edson. You know I spend a lot of time speaking about it. Some of the other models, I don't want to give the whole video away, but I'm just telling you, this is a rhapsody about Waterman and where they are now and what you can still get. So I'm very, very proud of it. I think you guys are going to love this video. So let me know. All right. So I want to show you now a couple of things, and then we'll get to my origins and what seduced me in with fountain pens. But what I want to show you is, do you guys recognize this pen? This is, I have the camera at a weird angle, so I'm going to be a little awkward with my hands. This is the Montblanc 147 Traveler, and it's known as a Traveler, and it might very well be traveling somewhere. And you might be wondering why I have a plate. Does anybody have a good reason why I have this plate here? Not just because it's cool, because it is cool. But there's a reason. Does anybody want to guess in the chats? I know I keep going to the chats, but it's fun. It's fun for me to hear if you guys are kind of onto my wave of thinking. Anybody want to take a guess as to why Hemingway Jones is putting plates down? And there's a lot of noise going on in the background, but I'll show you why in a second. No guesses, guys. You like the skull. I do indeed like the skull, Lady Manx. I do. But that's not the exact reason. Like a Man, All Hallows Eve. A great movie with Art the Clown. I saw it, but that's not the reason. The oil is burning, got it. It's because he's going to eat the pen. Now, that would be a great video. Day of the Dead, very cool. And someone in Spanish. Dia de los Muertos. Very good. I know I just impressed you all with my Spanish accent. Okay, so I'll tell you guys why. Isn't this nice? This map of Rome. Isn't it nice? Well, I love to spill ink on my beautiful backgrounds and destroy them. So now I use a plate anytime I use ink. So that's why. So I bought burgundy red. I liked it so much in the cartridges, and I put it in my 147, and I put it in my Bohème as well. And so what I thought would be kind of fun with you real quick, and I hope it doesn't, oh good. I was really hoping it didn't have something here, because if it did, I'd be done. I would see like, okay, I'm not doing it, because I would make a mistake. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Bohème, move this away. See, I can move it too. So this is interesting. If you don't know about this pen, you undo it from the back and this little sled slides out. And this gold sled holds 2 cartridges full of ink, but not full of ink because this one's just about empty, but this one's very full. And instead of pushing another cartridge in, I bought this bottle anyway. So I thought I would just use a syringe and just fill it, which is kind of easy. I probably just put way too much in here. Now, if you do this at home, be very careful because it's really easy to put too much in. So oh yeah. See, this is why I do it. See? I'm just going to keep going. I know I'm going to leak a little, but it's okay because I do have this plate. But this would have ruined my map. I would have been very, very sad. And I am a person, guys, who does ruin stuff. I do ruin stuff quite a bit. So I'm cleaning it off right now to make sure it's okay. And now I'm going to return it back into its carriage. Okay. So now it just put it into the feed. I'm going to cap it. I'm going to write with it in a second. But now I need to kind of clean this up. There's 2 ways I can clean this up. I'm going to clean it up the fun way. I'm going to try to save this ink as much as I can. Hey, look at this. This is working. You guys catching this? Isn't this crazy? It's actually working a little bit. Okay. Well, kind of. The plate's very clean, so. Okay. Now I'm going to get that way out of the way. I'm also going to wipe this because who knows where that will end up. This is kind of the reason why you don't see me do a lot of pen modification or anything else. It's because I am a mess. I really am often a mess. So, but it's a joyful mess, if you will. Okay, very cool plate. It's going. But look, no ink on here. I do have one spot over by the Circus Maximus. I'll take myself out of the picture and you can see. But it blends right in, so you don't really see it. But see, I do have one little ink drop from a long time ago when I first got it, the Circus Maximus. But it's just a Roman hanging out. That's all. It's meant to be there. So it's not my fault. Okay. Super fun. So let's write for a second. Yeah, see, very nice color. I think it compares very favorably with the Dracula ink. It's definitely close to Oxblood. I just made it Q blood, but it's Oxblood. X's are a challenge. Let me try to write it nicely. I was ready to I'm just doing it from there. That's not so bad. You just have to go with it sometime. All right, you know what? I think I'm going to roll into the book and show you. Let me just check in with you guys in your comments for a second. Make sure I'm not missing too much. Kirk Geisinger says it looks like oxblood. It does indeed. I agree. I agree, my friend. It does. Discord server. People are talking about Discord servers. Is that something you guys would want to do with this channel? Because if somebody wants to be a moderator and set it up, I'd be happy to do it. I don't know if I can take on another thing right now because I'm with my job and my career and my family, I'm barely keeping the channel afloat. So it's just a lot of work, guys. I love it, but it is a lot of work. Okay. So I am now going to show you my book. So this is my old trip to Rome, Florence, and Venice in 2008. That's me. And it's in an old moleskin notebook. It was intended for Rome. It's quite thick. It's a really fun notebook. I was smart. I covered my name and address with some stickers from Atlas Stationers. But what was really cool about this one is it had a Rome subway map. And it had a little Rome map as well. And if that isn't enough, it also broke each square down into other sections. So it was really interesting. I guess I was going some places because I circled those. Oh yeah, look at that. A lot of drama going on here. I don't know what, but I did something. So I was very active with this back in the day. Remember, this was the day before any kind of GPS. This was 2008. I guess they had Garmin's and things, but you didn't carry that on your person at the time. So also have a lot of different notes and things on places that I wanted to see. Piazza di Spagna, Nino's, Cafe Greco. What is that? I don't know what that is, but lots of good stuff. Different restaurants, different notes I took when I was there. And then I also did it for Venice. So Venice is in the back. Murano, different glass types. Listo di Spagna. I don't know what that is. I hope I enjoyed it. Toro dell'Orologio. So I just wanted to know what I was looking at. So I took some notes up front. Some I took there. And then Florence as well. Looks like I stayed at the Hotel Globus. Went to the Uffizi. You know, all the important stuff. So since I am going to the same place this year, I'm going to Rome, Florence, and Venice. I wanted a similar book. I wanted to go back to the future. I wanted to have a book like this that I could journal in and use in my B-roll and my videos when I'm making stuff for you guys. And I want to bring some nice B-roll back for whichever videos I make in the future. But I don't want to carry my Bottega Obscura around with me, right? I don't want a giant journal all the time. Bottega Obscura, for those of you that might somehow not know, is this size. This is a Bottega Obscura journal. I think it's the most amazing journal made. I have a bunch of these. I adore them. Incredible craftsmanship. Beautiful leathery smell. They're just brilliant. If you ever have an opportunity to get one, I highly suggest you buy it. It was in my 5 notebooks and journals for Dark Academia video. Love, love, love. But can you imagine me carrying this around Venice the whole time? It would look super cool, right? If I'm over by one, a canal with, Salute in the background and I'm writing in here, that'd be brilliant. But also poor me carrying this and my daughter's accoutrement and everything else. It would be a lot. So I wanted something similar to this, which, here it is in perspective. Shove it in my pocket, my back pocket, toss it in a bag, whatever. Easy, easy. So I wanted something like this, and I found it, though slightly different, but Moleskine has it, and I'm going to make a few comments about it. It's pretty. It's pretty, and it's going to look great in B-roll. Look at this. Look at this. It's thinner. Why is thinner better? Because I can fill it up. This has a lot of pages I never got to. Wouldn't it be brilliant to fill it up? And I'm not saying I will. There's a little bookmark. In case of loss, please return to me. This is me. I can put me here. So I'm really excited about this book. It's not as grand as the other one. There's no real map. There's this, which I suppose could... I don't think that could do much of anything. But there it is. It's very pretty. There doesn't seem to be any other map. There's a map of the world, which isn't going to help me at all on this trip. But it is kind of cool. It's pixelated. And then different travel planning. I can put the time. And there is a little guide, which is super fun. But it's just for Rome. But, you know, here's Trastevere, Testaccio, Tridente, Trieste. So, Flaminino, Vatican City. So you get some interesting things. Oh, here's some books to read for the trip. This is cool. All right, I need to share this with you guys because here's some books. And I see Mary Beard's book, which is one of my favorites. SPQR, Sono Porchi Questi Romani. No, that's not what it stands for. A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. Memoirs of Hadrian. That sounds fun. Okay, what else do we have? Roman Stories by Lahiri, which is pretty incredible. So, a kind of a neat sampling. I didn't even see this bit. And then a playlist for songs. Frank Sinatra, Presley. Really, really old-fashioned songs. I would go with Lorena McKinnon, personally. If you want songs, I'll be playing like Dante's Prayer by Lorena McKinnon. One of my favorite Italian composers is Vivaldi, so I'll be playing a lot of Vivaldi. And I will be playing Beethoven's Seventh, which is great. So this book is great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And let me comment on something too. Moleskines, as you know, are not the best for fountain pens, but you know what? So what? You don't get the paper you always want. There is no fountain pen friendly book that's like this, and this is perfect. And if I need to write on only one side of the paper, I will. But let me see how this handled it. This is a medium cross apogee. I know that for a fact. How did it handle the ink? Now, almost 20 years later, brilliantly. Brilliant. I don't know what happened there, but that looks like me crossing out. You can't really see through it. Looks like I brought two pens or I re-inked, but I know I have my cross apogee on that trip. Brilliant. So a lot of that whole thing about, this paper's not good for fountain pens or whatnot, don't let that stop you if you like a book, because, if you're going to use fountain pens and incorporate them into your life, you need to use them on whatever paper is in front of you. You have to adapt to the paper. You can't always get the paper you want, but if you try, you may get the paper you need. So look at this. This is brilliant. This is all done with a cross apogee. I almost want to bring my cross apogee, but look at that. Look, I'm bringing DVDs. Isn't that funny? Fountain pen. Yeah, that's right. I only called it that, not specific in those days. But look at this. This is gorgeous. There's no problem with writing on inferior paper. You have to adapt your hand. That's all. Easy peasy. So we'll see how this paper is, because we don't know. Maybe we try right now. Maybe I write my name in it. We'll see what it looks like. This is a fine nib pen after all. So let's see. The suspense is killing me. I hope it will last. By the way, have you guys ever seen me print before? I don't often print, but here I am. This is my name after all. I don't think I'll put my actual address in here, but I probably will put my email. and a few other things. Online contact, Hemingway Jones. But the paper's fine, guys. It's fine. Does it bleed through? A little bit. But who cares? I don't care. I'll write on one side. You have to adapt yourself. The perfect pen for this would be a Charleston. So, but I'm excited. I'm going to fill it up with all this. I got lots of space. I'm going to take some notes when I'm around, and we can look at it when I get back. So it's going to be fun. Super fun. Because all my other small books are too small, and I think they'll get messed up. So I am going to adapt my hand to it. Oh boy, this hour is flying by. You guys have to tell me when I hit the halfway mark. Drinking so much more water. I don't know, can you tell I lost weight? I lost like 16 pounds. Just not drinking sugary drinks, guys. Sugary drinks will kill you. Very bad for you. Okay, so I wanted to get into a little bit of what got me so passionate about fountain pens to begin with. And this goes back to a question I was recently asked. I'm going to be featured on Lockbee's site. And they wanted to know some things about me, and it really got me thinking. And some of these details are hazy, but it is fun to think back. And I think I'm very nostalgic these days. It's been a little bit of a challenge. This time of year is always a little trying on your mental health, I think. I think you can get sort of psyched and seduced in by some of the cycles that are going on. You see another year ending, and it can weigh a little heavier on you as you get a little older, and you start to get a little nostalgic and think back. And I think that's part of this. Like, I'm reliving something that happened in Rome and Florence and Venice 20 years ago. I'm trying to recreate a little bit of that. And more than that, I want to impart some of that magic to my daughter Imogen. That is what I really want to do. I want to share my love of Italy. I want it so she knows all about it. She understands it and understands my passion for Italy. So, how did it all begin? A long time ago, probably in the late 1980s, I would see fountain pens around. They were still sort of academic adjacent in those days, where the more colorful and charismatic professors would use them at Rutgers. You would see them in media often as a way of distinguishing someone. You still do to a certain extent. It does show a level of refinement of someone who takes what is, for many people, a very banal act of simply writing to the next level, where they're trying to imbue it with some color and personality and something uniquely themselves. The shape of their line, the ink. You guys know all this. So in those days, it was very much a mystery to me. It sort of reminds me of how I got into rock climbing, when I was hiking and I would see rock climbers and they were covered in gear, and it just looked cool, and it looked more interesting, like another step to take beyond hiking, to get into technical climbing and get to play with more interesting toys. So as someone who writes, and writes extensively, as you know, it was very seductive to me to have a special pen, almost like my special tool, to express myself. But there's another big part too, and I think you guys know this, that I am someone who is very into old things and sort of a vintage lifestyle. There's a lot you don't know about me, and I'll be confessing as we go, but I have a whole collection of fedoras, many from the 1940s. And I have some modern ones too. I was friends with the guy who made it for the fourth Indiana Jones movie. So I have some of those that were made in the same batch. And then I even have one by Herbert Johnson that made it for the first company. So I'm into like vintage things, fedoras, suits, just kind of romanticizing your life in a way that people lived 70, 80, maybe 100 years ago. And part of that was handwritten notes, being a little more polite. I try to be polite. I'm from Philadelphia, so I do have my tendencies, but I do try to be polite. I think if you met me, you might go, oh, he's polite. I hope some people will vouch for me. Even my haircut is a bit on the vintage size. My glasses, my frames are Ray-Ban Wayfarers from the 1950s and 60s. So I am just very much a vintage kind of guy. I wear a mechanical watch. It's who I am. So I saw fountain pens as just another way of expressing myself as an individual and someone who at the time was aspiring to be refined, was coming out of a very tumultuous point in his life, in his young life, and aspiring to be successful and comfortable and more comfortable in my skin than anything else. But I was envisioning this person I wanted to be. And if I were to show you the person I wanted to be 30 years ago, it's me. I wanted to be me, and now I'm me. But I wasn't me, and I had to change. And that was a whole lot of pain and pushing and fixing. I had to fix the broken pieces. If you remember, Peter Gabriel said it well. Peter Gabriel said, I'm digging in the dirt to heal the places I got hurt. So I think there's a lot to that. In your life, you're angry, you're dissatisfied, but you can't live your whole life that way. If you can catch yourself, you need to right yourself. So, and that's actually an interesting pun, isn't it? You need to right yourself. And I think I did that very literally. I wrote myself a character. I wrote who I would be. Epictetus. You guys remember me speaking about him, perhaps from a video over the summer on journaling. The one journaling prompt, the only one I need, me personally, is think first who you would be and then do what you must do. I wanted to be more copacetic, more well-rounded, more connected, more loving, to have a really healthy relationship, and one day have a family. These are the things I wanted. I wanted to be financially secure, all these things. And then I was 20 steps away from all that. So I had to write my hero's journey, my Joseph Campbellian hero's journey from sort of naive farm boy to Jedi master. And I'm still somewhere on that road. But that was my introduction into fountain pens were part of that. Maybe the fountain pen was my lightsaber. It was my tool and my access to explore, to take notes, to question, to think about more things. And my belief system is and was and is under constant scrutiny. I don't hold a belief so precious to me that it's not worth questioning, debating, and revising. And if I'm wrong, apologizing for, and then making restitution and moving on, if need be. So I am constantly sort of self-auditing as part of fountain pens. But let me get back to a little bit more of the tangible part of it. In those days, and we're speaking in the 90s, there were some incredible choices of fountain pens out there. And they were some of them were deliciously expensive, and some were very elusive. And I used to subscribe to GQ magazine too, which used to be a great magazine. I don't even know if it exists anymore. But it used to kind of service the aspiring younger professional. I guess a yuppie, if you will, in those days. I was a little young to be a yuppie. That was more of a mid-'80s, late 80s thing. And I didn't get out of college till the early 90s. It took me a while to work my way through. But as I got out, I definitely wanted to distinguish myself and to make this interesting romantic life. And I need the right tools. So I looked at all the different fountain pens. I ended up buying, I know I bought some disposable ones. I'm thinking they were Pilot Varsities, but I'm not sure if they were available then. So I could be conflating it with something else, but I definitely had some sort of disposable fountain pen that was brilliant. My voice is bad tonight. Forgive me. I have a cold. So it's all that hurts, though. It's my voice. The rest of me feels fine. But I tried the disposables for a while, and I didn't like them. Oh, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. And I wanted something more expressive and interesting. So I ended up at the Benu bookstore here in Boston, very close to Fenway Park. I lived in Boston at the time. And they had their pens for graduates and whatnot. And there was a Waterman in there. I always forget which model it is. I still have it somewhere. I think it's in the eaves of the house in the West Wing. We do have eaves. Excuse me. But that pen was gold, had a gold nib. It was blue, shiny blue, marbled, gold nib, rings. Very, very pretty. Very pretty pen. And I didn't really know how to use it. And I was a little still kind of testadora in those days. And I pressed on it entirely too hard. And a lot of you guys know, I broke it where it screws together at the section. Just snapped it off. I'd like to find it. I feel like I could salvage the nib at least. Maybe find a new body and put it all back together. It would just be kind of a neat thing to have now. But it didn't stop me. I had a huge failure, but it didn't stop me. I quickly bought some other fountain pens. Some I still have. My Schaefer Legacy, my Cross Apogee that I was speaking about before, and my Cartier Diabolo, which is one of my best fountain pens. And I kept on the same kind of path I'm on now. It was about curiosity, but with purpose, because my purpose was I really wanted to write in a vintage manner. I wanted the kind of line variations you see in old letters from the 20s and the 30s, especially diplomatic documents. Some of those had flex nibs. Some of them were obliques and stub nibs. But I wanted that kind of interesting vintagey writing and the effect to my writing. Because one of the things that we can do, one of the few things you can control in life is your line. You can control the shape of your line. That's a beautiful thing that fountain pens give you. So, I did go on to get that. And where I mostly discovered, where I feel if I write with a pen and my writing looks vintagey, it's with like a Waterman 52 or a Waterman 5, Waterman 52 and a half. Those are the pens that give me that effect the most. And part of the reason is that after 100 years of writing with those, they become a little oblique. They're just a little, for lack of a technical term, they're just a little jacked. Like they work perfectly. And you can write very wispy, and they have a beautiful downstroke with a fine, bold line and a very wispy upstroke. But they are a little jacked. And they write with just this little gorgeous twist that gives you this great line variation as you go. It's exquisite. So I love writing with vintage pens because it helps me to realize my original dream, which was to write in a vintage manner. Let me recognize the lovely, the talented Puppet Access with a $5 super chat. So, thank you so much. If you don't look back in time in 6 months with embarrassment, you're not growing, personality or professionally. It's true. It is true. It's good to keep revising. And that has been one of the center strokes, the center strivings, like the motor of my life, has been to question myself intently on big questions, where I find meaning in life, self-found, self-derived. And that's very powerful for me. And it makes me very unstoppable. And I am learning every day and growing every day. And I'm very, very fortunate to have a lovely group of people around me. So fountain pens have been a big part of my personal journey, my personal growth, and everything else. And the original drive was to recreate this sense of classic writing, just expressive writing that could be tied to me in ink choice, in line. And I think I've achieved that and am achieving it all the time. So that's really the origins, and that's how all this came to be. And if you want to quickly know where kind of Hemingway Jones came to be and all that, I'll give you a quick rundown. I've covered it before, but I will cover it again. First, I want to say hi to Duke for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Duke. Much appreciated. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Duke. You're the best. Thanks for the support so much. Oh, Duke has been a member for 4 months. Hey, way to go. Thanks, Duke. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the members, guys. Thanks so much. And we have a pen pal group. Cognizant and Illuminati members can be in our pen pal group. So keep that in mind. So Hemingway Jones was created for internet forums probably 25 years ago. And I was really into Indiana Jones forums. So I took my favorite writer, which was Hemingway, and I put it together with Indiana Jones. I came up with Hemingway Jones. And Hemingway Jones did a lot of posts and discovered some interesting new things about the world of Indiana Jones. And then I went on to the Fedora Lounge, where I would write articles and things also for Classic Style magazine under my own name. And I started writing for menswear magazines and online sites. I've written with Stridewise. If you guys don't subscribe to Stridewise and you're into boots and classic menswear, he does like rugged menswear, heritage menswear, then consider it. He's a great guy. Nick English, lovely fellow at Stridewise. I'm writing for him again. I just wrote something on Barber for him, mostly as a favor because he's a good dude. So I wrote an article on the Barber Beaufort for him, something I'm very passionate about. So I created that persona, and then I dusted it off again, Hemingway Jones, during the pandemic when I was working from home as a banker, and I wanted to break up my day. So I would make little short videos for TikTok under that name that really took off. I have like 118,000 people that follow me along there. But TikTok I got a little disillusioned with, and I wanted to make YouTube my home. So I came over to YouTube, was it 3 years ago? And I started this channel, which I consider my internet home. And I have an Instagram too. No Facebook, except my own name. But you don't want my own Facebook because that's me, and I'm not as fun as Hemingway Jones. You probably want to catch me as Hemingway Jones. I'm a lot more fun. Otherwise, you just get pictures of my kid and stuff. It's kind of, boring. But Hemingway Jones on Instagram as well. But that's kind of the story of all of it. And I think I'll reveal more and more things as time goes on. I'm probably going to do a lot more live shows. I like this. I want to do more handwriting things. I just want to really connect with you guys and put out really interesting videos so that you guys enjoy this channel as much as I do. Because I am really trying to make it interesting and different every week. And that has some drawbacks because YouTube likes conformity. I'm going to say something real quick about the last video on the most goth fountain pen, because I really want to say this and I find it really interesting. Please watch it. And the first clip from The Crow is the soundtrack of The Crow. All right. So there's some vocal, and I kept it because it was short and I could get away with it. But you have to be careful about copyright strikes. So in the next clip, it's Eric Draven, and he's trashing his room, and he's like turning into the crow, and a crow appears and goes on his shoulders, and lightning strikes and all this. If I had included that soundtrack, I probably would have received some kind of infraction for the whole video. So instead, I got rid of the soundtrack and I made my own. I put sound effects of a guy kind of grunting. I put lightning sound effects. I put my own tech, not my own, but from the free library, music, this techno music on top, and some other sound effects, including like distant fire engines and things. into the mix, and it sounds like it's from the movie. But if you watch that video, the second clip, it's all me. And now here's something even more interesting. The third clip is Helen, who nailed a voiceover on the first take. And it's a famous scene from The Crow. And I wanted to use it, but I definitely would have got in trouble if I had. So I got rid of it. I put the words up in front of her. She nailed it in one take. I put a little effect on her voice. I put some fire engines behind her, some fire sound effects, some beeping horns and things in the background. And you would think, I bet many people perhaps thought that that was from the actual movie. It was not. It was creative sound engineering by Hemingway Jones. Something I'm really striving for. So I hope you guys noticed. I just wanted to let you know. Jared Diaz has the Crow soundtrack. Its Crow soundtrack is awesome. It really is. Evil Critters asks, is the Discord going to be members only? Are you guys making a Discord? Let me know. I'd like to be part of my Discord. That'd be super fun. Ellie J digs the story. Thanks so much. Wolf Kate Witch found me on TikTok. So cool. Wolf Kate Witch has been with me a long time. We have been together, which I really appreciate. It's really fun to see someone like Kate at a lot of different events and things. So super fun. Annie Paradox says, I knew it was Helen. I'm so glad you knew it, because I want Helen to get her due. I probably should have put a big thank you to her at the back, but Helen's great. She's very supportive. Debbie Pogorski, it was a great video. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, Karen McLean likes my production skills. I really appreciate it, guys. Helen and I are thinking of doing Cool or Not Cool 3. I might be able to lure her back to the channel. So that would be fun. So many interesting pens came in since the last one. I mean, think about it. The Edson, the Around the World in 80 Days, the 147, the Crow by Benu, another Benu pen you haven't seen yet. A couple Magna Cartas, a couple Gravitas, all kinds of stuff. So super fun things, guys. Thanks so much for the thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate it. Duke asks, the map of Rome you have, is that just a paper mat or writing pad of sorts? It's cool. It's not a writing pad, my friend. It's a print, though. It's a high quality print that's kind of meant to be put on a wall. And the reason I like it is it doesn't reflect. So I can use it pretty well as a backdrop, although it has a weird cast that sometimes throws off my white balance. So I do have to be careful about that. But I do like it, and I use it quite a bit. I think you've seen it in a lot of my videos. So you will continue to see it. So very cool stuff. So, you guys are saying, Pots and Pans, yes, Discord. I need you to let me in, HJ. I haven't been on Discord in a while. I didn't know I really had like a Discord. I don't know how it works. Someone's gonna have to help me, but I'd be happy to set something up for people. Terry Eggington, more Helen would be awesome. One thing I would say too, I was thinking about maybe we do a WhatsApp chat too. So think about that too. All right, guys, my voice is shot, but I want to thank you all. Love you all. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Watch the video on Waterman on Thursday if you would. I'd appreciate it. And thanks for everything. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you again very soon. My voice is dying. Further up the road. Thanks so much, guys. Take care and stay well.